Malala wrote the foreword of your book, and I just want to read one quote. She says, "My father made me realize that my voice was powerful. I knew how to tell a story. I knew how to speak up." What does that mean to you as her father?
I grew up in a very patriarchal family, and the worst discrimination that crippled my sister's future was that I was sent to school and they had not an opportunity to be sent to school. And I was very determined that if I'm a father, I'll be a different father. The most important thing was that I sent her to school. And I personally believe that education is the most powerful equalizer. I knew that my sister would have had an entirely different future in life if they had been sent to school. I believed in her, I believed in her voice, I believed in her identity.
What about your upbringing made you so passionate about education?
I have this stammering problem, stuttering, and I was also bullied by some of my class fellows. I was dark in color, so I also could see that fair-skinned boys were favored compared to me. So I was very mindful of inequalities. That if you suffer something evil, something bad, you should fight against that thing rather than reciprocating.
You have 3 children.
Yes.
So how do you think about raising your sons versus Malala? Do you think about it differently?
We created an egalitarian family. They are feminist sons, really. They believe in equality. If a couple wants to teach their children to believe in equality, this is very simple. They should behave as equal partners because our children learn what we do, not what we teach.
Tell me a little bit about your bond with Malala.
When she was growing up, this bond strengthened with passage of time. And we became more than like father-daughter. We were comrades, friends, companions. People ask me what special I did to raise a daughter who is so poised and brave. And I tell them, don't ask me what I did. Rather, ask me what I did not do. I did not clip her wings. Fatherhood, people define it as like an authority, a control. For me as a father, I think it's a kind and compassionate mentorship.
Malala is the youngest Nobel laureate. Do you feel like you learn from her?
Yes, indeed. I learn from her. And I tell parents that we all can learn from our children. Usually parents, and especially fathers, they want to shackle their children to their past. And we need fatherhood for the future. Walk
me through what was going on in your mind when you heard the news that Malala was attacked.
Because of the Talibanization, ban on girls' education, they bombed more than 400 schools. This one girl with a voice, Taliban thought that she was a threat to their ideology. I had this kind of feeling and thoughts that could I have done differently? And my wife told me a very powerful thing at that moment. She told me that, look, you stood for the right of education, and like you, she stood for the right of education. You should never be feeling any regret.
Do you feel as though you've impacted other men in your community to think about gender and equality the way you do?
The village where I was born and I grew up, I never saw a girl to be going to school. Right now, there are 250 girls. This is the first generation of girls who will be receiving an education. Fathers are more interested and they're very keen.
That's great.
So this is a big change. Also, I know many families who have named their daughters after Malala.
Wow.
If education does not instill in our children the value of equality, we should be sure that there is something wrong with its quality.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.